Hey guys, welcome to Total Health Live with Dr. Nick Sedano. I'm Dr. Sedano, and I am thrilled you're here today because we've got a great show. I'll tell you what, I just started a new program called the Ketogenic Diet. And many of you guys maybe have heard about it. If you haven't heard about it, we're going to give you a really good look into it today so you can get a good understanding about it and see if it's right for you. But I'll tell you what, I'm excited about it. I love it. I'm pumped. I tell you, I feel great. I've been on it for about 4 days now. And it's typically your very low carb diet, so I should be feeling a lot of brain fog, but I do not. I've got great energy. And I tell you, it's a little different than you're used to in that most of the time you're thinking, I can't be having fat because fat's going to make me gain weight, right? How many guys think that? If you think that, type into that comment bar, fat makes me fat, right? Well, the reality is it doesn't. So this is a totally revolutionary way to look at your diet and actually make changes that are going to be better for you, whether it be weight. So if you guys want to incinerate fat and burn fat and get trim and ripped, this diet will work for that. If you want to just look good for the summer, get toned, it'll get you ready for that too. But if you have metabolic disorders, where you have maybe diabetes or heart disease or Alzheimer's or even things like epilepsy. In fact, this was discovered back on epileptic patients when they found that the patients didn't have as many seizures when they either went on intermittent fasting, which we talked about in a past episode, or the ketogenic diet because of the high fat content. So guys, you're going to love this. Like I said, get your friends, get them to listen to this, get them to watch it along with you. In fact, if you like what we talk about today, please like it, give us the heart, share it out, get your friends to listen, because I'll tell you what we're going to talk about today when it comes to weight loss and transformation of your overall health is going to be nothing short of amazing with this. So I want to dive into this. Like I said, this is all about the ketogenic diet. And I'm going to be doing upcoming episodes, so keep an eye out because I'm going to be doing some cooking episodes with this. We got a lot of great reviews and a lot of thanks and shout outs because of our last episode we did with the spiralizer, and we were talking about how to make zoodles and low-fat ways of making pasta. So that went over really well. So I'm going to be doing a lot more cooking shows, but I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking shows with the ketogenic diet. So watch out for that. We're going to be talking about dinners and desserts and all different kinds of things. So keep an eye out. Anyway, diving into the ketogenic diet, there's so many benefits to it. Basically, you're switching from a sugar burner to a fat burner. Many of us are sugar burners because that's all we've burned all of our lives. If you guys are a sugar burner, raise your hand and say, yeah, that's me, because I've been eating carbs all my life. In fact, if you've been eating bread, rice, pasta, cereal, cakes, cookies, you are a sugar burner. That's all your body knows how to burn. Rarely will it get to the fat. And typically, you eat so much sugar that your body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it in the form of fat. Because whenever you take in sugar into your body secretes a lot of insulin, and that insulin will convert it to glycogen. Glycogen is stored sugar. Well, there's only so much glycogen you can store in your muscles or in your liver. So the rest of it gets converted to fat and it ends up everywhere else. That's why you never get to burn it off, because you constantly give your body supplies of more glucose, more sugars. So your body never burns off fat. So today we're going to show you how to flip that switch and turn your body into a fat burner. Hey guys, if you want to be a fat burner, give us a little comment right in the comment bar and say, yeah, that's me. I want to be a fat burner. All right, so I'm just going to keep an eye out, see if there's anybody asking questions or anything. So if you have any questions, just ask guys, type it into the comment bar. I'll keep an eye out for you. All right. Let's see. Let me turn this on here. There we go. Turn my sound off, and I'll keep an eye out for you. Anyway, guys, like I said, let's dive into this. Number one, probably one of the biggest things that happens when you get on a ketogenic diet and get off of the sugar is you reduce inflammation. Inflammation is a major cause of disease today. What science is now finding is linked to Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. Virtually any disease we see today could be linked right back to inflammation. So one of the biggest things it does is it helps our body get rid of the inflammation, because one of the biggest causes of inflammation is excess refined carbohydrates, excess sugars. So when you can reduce that, the inflammation comes down in your body. It also helps with cardiovascular health. Once again, what research shows is that cardiovascular disease or heart disease comes many times because of all the starches we take. It actually causes grooves to be grooved into your arterial walls, which then causes the plaquing or the cholesterol to stick in it. So guys, it's not because of cholesterol that you have heart disease. It's linked to the refined carbohydrates. So by switching to this kind of diet, you're going to reduce the cardiovascular disease. It also improves your lipid profiles. So guys, a lot of times we're concerned about our cholesterol. Our cholesterol is too high. But here's the thing. It's not the cholesterol, it's the particles. But what happens is when you take in too much sugars, you make really big small particles that embed in your arterial walls. So as I was talking about earlier, where those grooves get cut out and that abrasiveness gets into your arterial walls from the refined sugars you're eating, these small particles can then embed into that and it creates that plaquing. So when you get on a ketogenic diet and increase your fats, reduce your sugars, that helps you get those big fluffy particles I was talking about earlier. So you want big fluffy cholesterol particles rather than the small particles which can embed. Another thing, it helps with the endocrine system. Guys, all of our hormones start from fat. They're all made from fat. So if you don't take in the right amounts of fat and the right quality of fat, you're not going to make your hormones properly. So in this case, it will help you with that. It'll help you stabilize your blood sugar levels because we're not going to be spiking it, getting that yo-yo effect. How many of you guys do that? You go home or go to breakfast, you have some syrupy pancakes or some kind of other, crepes or something real sugary. You go to work, you're crashing. The next thing you know, you're at the coffee shop getting some coffee, or you're getting a Danish or a donut, or you're getting something at the machine where you're getting a Snickers bar or whatever just to ramp yourself back up again, to yo-yo again. I mean, you guys are up and down all day long because you're on a sugar high. Then your sugar crashes, and then you ramp it back up again, and then it crashes again because of all this insulin production on and off. So guys, it'll help stabilize your blood sugar levels, improves insulin sensitivity. Guys, that's a huge one. Because of all the sugar we eat in our diets, we become insulin resistant. That means our bodies no longer see or read insulin anymore. So as a result, our body's whipping our pancreas to make more and more insulin. Insulin, insulin, insulin. And the fact is we're not making enough of it to get the blood sugar down and get the sugar into our muscles and into our liver. So as a result, all we're doing, and we take medications for it, we're whipping our pancreas by just trying to get it to make more and more insulin because our body's not reading it anymore. We've become insulin resistant or reduced insulin sensitivity. It helps with diabetes, therefore, and of course, cancer. This is a huge one. We did a seminar on this on one of our past Facebook Lives. We talked about cancer. The number one fuel for cancer is sugar. So by reducing the sugar and getting on a ketogenic diet, which by the way, we're going to get into in just a moment, cancer cells cannot use ketone bodies. And we're going to talk about what ketone bodies are in just a little while. But that's when we break the fats down in our liver. When we're in a state of ketosis, we actually produce ketone bodies, which our bodies run perfectly off of for fuel, but cancer cells can't. So the great thing about a ketogenic diet too is you starve cancer because you no longer give it the sugar that it wants to survive. Instead, you're giving it something it can't survive on, but our bodies can. So the cancer gets starved. It's great for seizures. Once again, this was discovered when it came to patients with epileptic seizures. They found that patients that did intermittent fasting and also did a ketogenic diet had lower incidence of their seizures. Once again, because it helps the brain function. 60% of your brain is fat. We need fat in our diets, but we started taking it out back in the 80s when people were told, hey, eat your healthy whole grains and get away from the fats. Fat cause heart disease. Well, I'll tell you what, if fats cause heart disease and made us fat, why do we give our cows grains to fatten them up? Instead, we should be giving fat to fatten them up. So guys, it's not about the fat. It's about the grains and the starches that we've been eating since the 80s when doctors and the American Dietetic Association, the American Diabetic Association, and the American Medical Association and the government said, eat more healthy whole grains. I'm telling you guys, get away from it. Start including more fat in your diet. Other benefits, supports healthy weight loss. Like I said, guys, when you turn your body into a fat burning machine, and that's what you want to do, you want to make it a fat burner, more efficient at fat. The only way to do it is to take the carbs out so that your body has to turn to fat as its primary fuel source. And guess what? Fat is its preferred fuel source. Now, sure, it's easy to burn the sugars, so it's like burning kindling wood. So it's going to want to burn the sugars very easily. But a better, cleaner fuel source, guys, is fat. Your body burns longer on fat. In fact, a lot of triathletes and a lot of Olympic level athletes are getting off of the sugars because of the highs and using more healthy quality fats. So it's like burning logs rather than the kindling wood. It lasts longer. You don't get those crashes. Another thing too, helps with cognitive function. Once again, the brain is made up of fat. So when you can start increasing your healthy fats in your brain, you get better cognitive function, better mental clarity. Now, I'm not going to tell you in the first few days it's tough. You got a little bit of brain fog because your body's so used to looking for sugars, it's saying, hey, where are the sugars? But you know what, guys? You'll get over it. It'll be fine. Once your body switches, and it takes about 2 weeks to start realizing that it's a fat burner, not a sugar burner, that's when the change happens and the mental clarity is sharp as anything. Reduce risks of chronic disease, once again, because of the inflammation. Improve muscle development. Great thing about the ketogenic diet is it's muscle sparing. It doesn't allow muscle breakdown. So the muscle development, you see so many top athletes now doing the ketogenic diet because it's so great for muscle development. And guess what? As I said before, fat metabolism. You will burn fat 24/7, even while you're sleeping. Hey guys, who wants to burn fat while you're sleeping? If that's you, type it into the comment bar. Yes, I want to burn fat while I'm sleeping. So that's the thing. When you're on a ketogenic diet, you're going to be burning fat 24/7, all day long, and even while you're asleep at night. Now, moving on. If we want to talk about the regular diet, we know we have basically two primary fuel sources. So there's two fuel sources that we have to choose from. What do you think of that, guys? That's pretty good graphics, huh? Overall, glucose and ketone bodies. Glucose is what we're used to. Glucose is the sugars that we take in. Glucose is what spikes your blood sugar levels. So you get in the form of potatoes, rice, starches in the form of tapioca, corn. Those are all your sources of glucose, those main four. Now, your body also runs off of ketone bodies. Many years ago, people said, no, you can't not give the body glucose. You can't starve the body of glucose because if you do, you can't run the brain off of that. The brain has to run off of glucose. That's not true, guys. What we find now is this. Your brain runs perfectly fine off of ketone bodies. So we don't need glucose to run the brain. We can use ketone bodies to run that. So how does this work? How does this whole thing about ketosis work? Well, we typically have this. We have what we call the standard American diet or the SAD diet. All right, it's really sad because this is a high carb diet. So what we see here, guys, this is bread. Okay, so we have some bread here. Bread comes into our system. Our pancreas then makes insulin. This is what we've always done. And the insulin then converts it into glucose, and it gets stored in the muscles, and the muscles then convert it to energy. Okay, so bread comes in, pancreas makes insulin. Insulin stores or turns it into glucose, and the glucose goes in, it pushes it into the cells. So when it's in the cells, now your body makes energy out of it. Well, here's how it works with the ketogenic diet. Very similar, but the difference is we're taking in fats. So we take in something like an avocado, except the fats, once we've depleted, now it's a key thing here, you have to go into ketosis for this. That means your body has depleted all of its stored glycogen, all of its stored sugars. So once all the sugar reserves are gone, your body now has to turn to fats for fuel. But it will never turn to fats for fuel if you're constantly taking in more sugar, right? You take in more sugar, it never has to go to fat. So you get on a diet, you say, you know what, I'm going to lose some fat, I'm going to trim away and not eat so many carbs today or tomorrow, but the reserves are still there. So because of the reserves are there and you never get through them, your body will never become a fat burner. So on the ketogenic diet, we get through all those reserves. Your body gets totally glycogen depleted and we become completely dependent then on the fats. The fats get actually converted in the liver, and the liver converts them to ketone bodies. And the ketone bodies are then converted to energy. And that's how it works. So with ketosis, we take fat in the liver, convert it to ketone bodies, and instead we burn ketones. Ketones are a lot cleaner fuel source, a lot better fuel source. You don't get the highs and the lows. You get great mental clarity. You're burning fat all day long. And right, that's what we want to do. Who wants to be lean and ripped? That's the way you get it. You get it when your body becomes a fat-burning machine rather than a sugar-burning machine. Because as long as it's a sugar-burning machine, it never gets to the fat. It never gets to the fat reserves, and that's why you always have those muffin tops or the love handles or the spare tire in the front, right? So how does the ketogenic diet work? What is the true ketogenic diet? And it's very simple. It's about 75% of your calories are fat. I checked mine just before I came on the show. Everything I've eaten today, I'm at about 73%. So that's great. I'm right in the zone. Protein should be about 20%. Now, the key thing is you don't want to have too much protein because too much protein, and I didn't even know this until recently, too much protein can be converted into sugar. It stimulates gluconeogenesis, so it makes more sugar. So we don't want too much protein because too much protein gets converted. And 5% starches. Now, we're going to talk in a little while about the tips at the end of the show as to what kind of starches to eat, but you want to keep starches at about 5%. So what does this look like on your plate? Well, roughly, you've got fat. Now, this looks like a little bit less than 75%, but we're going to say it's 75%. Protein is, like I said, 20, and carbs at about 5. I think I'm at about 6 for today. And you know what? There's so many great apps you can put in your phone. This isn't hard. You put them in your phone, and all you do is check each thing. You put in what you ate. Some of them have bar scanners. All you do is put it up to your phone's camera. It reads the bar scanner. Then you put in the amount that you ate, the amount of servings. It's so easy. It's unbelievable. And you guys will start burning. In fact, in the first 2 days, I dropped 2 pounds. That's how good it works. So getting back to this now. The fat percentage, once again, is 75%, but let's talk about what you should be eating. So what kind of fats do you want to eat? And guys, I've got a whole list that I'll be glad to provide to you that a good buddy of mine came up with, Dr. David Jockers. I want to give him a little shout out for that, but I can get that list to you. Just email me. I'm sure he's okay with it. Email me. I'll give you the email address at the end. But it's live@drsedano.com. I'll give it to you now instead. Live@drsedano.com, and I'll get you that list. But other things on the list are eggs, lots and lots of eggs. And I know you're thinking, no, I can't eat eggs, too much cholesterol. My doctor says eggs are bad for me. No, guys, eggs are fantastic for you, and don't buy into that whole cholesterol myth that cholesterol is bad for you, that cholesterol causes heart disease. Not true, guys. Just to get that right out of your head, all right? So lots and lots of eggs. In fact, before I came on, I had 4 eggs. Lots of coconut oil, lots of saturated fats. Saturated fats are great for you. In fact, breast milk has a lot of saturated fats within it, so it can't be all bad. God made it, right? Olive oil, lots of that. Avocados, just had an avocado before I came on also. Cheeses, especially if they're grass-fed, raw cheeses, even better. But you know what? Eating even regular cheese is going to be a whole lot better than eating a Snickers bar or a muffin, all right? Things like butter, lots and lots of grass-fed butter. I recommend Kerrygold. It's a great grass-fed butter. You know what? Get some good salt in it. We use a lot of salts like the Himalayan salt. Love that. Put a lot of salt when I'm cooking because your body wants to stay hydrated. One of the things that carbohydrates do, it keeps you hydrated, it holds the water in. When you go on a ketogenic diet, you're going to have a tendency to get a little dehydrated, so you just want to drink water. Lots and lots of water, which we should be doing anyway, right? Drink lots and lots of water to flush our system out, but it helps to also get some Himalayan salt in your system or sea salt, so that way you hold the water a little bit better. All right, protein, 20%. We're talking about things like salmon, beautiful salmon. It has an incredible antioxidant in it that keeps it orange called astaxanthin. Fantastic, nice grass-fed meats. Grass-fed meats are going to be best because you want to make sure that the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is correct. Omega-6 should be, around 4 to 1 to omega-3. Omega-3 is an anti-inflammatory. Omega-6 is too inflammatory. So the reason we want to keep it to a better ratio of 1 to 1 or 1 to 4 is because inflammation is a major cause of disease. So if you have commercially raised meats, the commercially raised meats are fed grains, which we know cause inflammation. So if you have too much inflammation, guys, you're going to be getting too much disease in your body. All right? So grass-fed meats, get the omega-6, omega-3 ratio correct. Chicken, all right? Free-range chicken, cage-free chicken. Make sure you're getting really good quality chicken. No steroids, no hormones, things like that. And also, too, wild meats. things like venison, okay? Wild game meats, do things like that. Have all kinds of different meats, fantastic. So once again, proteins are about 20%, and then carbs, getting your carbs mainly from your vegetables, guys. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're getting lots of green vegetables. Once again, it's on the list. I'll be glad to send it to you. It's got all the vegetables you should eat, all the proteins you should eat, all the fats you should eat, all the ones you shouldn't eat. What are the ones to avoid, okay? So we want to have that list. Once again, email me at live@drsedano.com. I'll make sure I get it to you. So berries, fantastic. Berries are great antioxidants because you want to make sure you're taking a lot of antioxidants on this. So berries are fantastic because they're also low glycemic index. And what that means is it doesn't spike your blood sugar. So you want to make sure that the berries you're eating are the most colorful ones because the most colorful ones have the greatest antioxidants, the best bioflavonoids, and they're the lowest glycemic index. So berries are fantastic for you. Lots and lots of berries, whether you have it in a smoothie or not, however. Now, let's talk about where should your range be? So when I say that, we are actually measuring ketones. So this isn't just a diet where you just kind of eat a certain way and see how it goes. You actually have to measure your ketones with this to see if you're in ketosis. So what I've got right here is these are our keto strips, ketone test strips. And so what you do, obviously, you've seen things like this before. This is nothing new. You take this and when you're urinating, you pee on it. And then what you do is about 40 seconds later, you measure it and you see on the scale where you're at, what number you're at, okay? So where you want to be with this in the most optimal zone is you want to be anywhere from 1.5 millimolar ketones to maybe 2.5. That's about it, 1.5 to 2.5, right in this range. That is the most optimal ketone range, okay? After that, you can get into starvation ketosis and ketoacidosis, which you'd never want to be there. But if you stay right in this range, you're going to be perfect, guys. So the only way you do it is with the keto strips. Now, here's the thing, though. After a couple of weeks of being in ketosis, so once you're actually in ketosis, the keto strips don't work so well anymore because then we start to change the ketone bodies that we're excreting, okay? So now you want to use at that point a type of device that you breathe into because you can measure the ketones with your breath. So there's 3 ways to measure ketones. One is with the keto strips in a urinalysis. Number 2 is with your breath. So you breathe into this tube, it takes a measurement, it lets you know where you're at. The third way is, of course, a blood test, which isn't really feasible. Who wants to sit there and prick their finger and get a blood test done all the time? So the easiest ways to do it is in the first couple of weeks, get the keto strips. They're cheap. I mean, I think that was $10. And then you can get the one that you breathe into. It's a little bit pricier, but you could check thousands of times. And by the way, when you start getting ripped and shedding fat and looking incredible, you're going to be glad you did. It's not very much. I think it's about $180 for one. Anyway, so helpful tips. These are the tips that we're going to need to know to be successful on your ketogenic diet, right? And like I said, guys, this isn't the only thing we're going to do on this. I'm going to do other Facebook Lives, even if it's a quick 5-minute one, just to kind of let you know where I am in my journey. And by the way, guys, let's do this together. Let's all do it together to where we're getting ripped together and shaped together, fighting disease, staying healthy together. So let's get like a little community going, a keto warriors we'll call ourselves, right? The keto warriors. And so let's do that. And so the tips that we need to do to really do well with this is stay hydrated, okay? You want to stay hydrated. Guys, the problem is, once again, water leaves our system quicker when we're not having all the starches. So by making sure we're staying hydrated, okay, we're going to ensure our success with this. So one thing I did this morning, which was fantastic, I loved it. I hadn't done it before, and I tried it. I took a nice tall glass of water first thing in the morning. I put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I was trying to think of the name, Bragg's. So Bragg's makes a fantastic apple cider vinegar. It's a raw apple cider vinegar with the mother in it, so you can see that floating, the bacteria they start to use to make it. Anyway, not to gross you out, but you put about a tablespoon of that in the water, and then I took a half a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, mixed it together, and actually I loved it. So if you like the taste of vinegar, you're going to love it. So try that out. It helps to stay hydrated because I'm getting good salts in my system, good healthy salts, not table salt. You don't want sodium chloride, that white stuff on your table. White table salt is terrible. Don't use it. It's created in a chemical laboratory, right? So stick with the pink Himalayan salt or Celtic salt. Celtic sea salt is good, or just Mediterranean sea salt. So use those. Those are your best bets. So consume enough salts, and that'll help you to stay hydrated. Exercise regularly. I'll tell you what, one of the best things we can do to eliminate muscle wasting is really to work out with weights. So I'm talking about weightlifting. I'm not talking about just using exercise bands or pulling on pulleys. Well, all those work really well. Or swimming. I'm talking about exercising with weights, building muscle. And this is the best time to do it. You're ripping down the fat and building muscle at the same time. That's why this diet is so fantastic, because as I said earlier, it's fantastic for muscle sparing. Okay, it's great for that. So exercise regularly. I'm also doing intermittent fasting. So go back and look at one of my previous episodes to learn all about intermittent fasting. But basically, in a nutshell, you pick a certain time of the day where you're going to eat and certain times where you're not going to eat. I find, guys, the easiest thing to do is to stop eating around 8 o'clock and then sleep through the night and then start eating again around noon. So you're getting 16 hours of not eating, letting your body burn into that fat storage even more, and then around noon, you're ready to go, you have your first meal. I tend to work out. I'm off, I stop seeing patients around 11. So by about 11:15, 11:20, I'm at the gym, ready to go. I work out till almost 12, so about 45 minutes. And then I'm having a protein shake. So I'm ready. Right after that, I didn't eat at all during the first part of the day. And next thing you know, I'm into my workout. I'm burning fat, burning calories. At the end of the workout, I have my protein shake, and I start eating till about 8, and then I stop. Okay? So that's intermittent fasting. Don't eat too much protein, guys. Remember I said, especially for bodybuilders, you guys who are working out, exercising, the tendency is going to say, you know what, I got to eat my protein. I got to eat my protein. There's no way I can't build muscle without the protein. So this is what I did. I calculated either 0.6 or 1 times my lean body mass. So I went high. I said 1. So that means 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So in my case, it would have been about 100, because I weigh about 174, 175 pounds. It would have been, for me, about 147, 148 pounds, or grams, I should say, of protein. So what I did is I backed it up from there a little bit, and I said about 120. So I took about 120 grams a day of protein, and then what I do is, since it's 20% of my calories, I figured out exactly how many calories I need to take a day, which in my case is 2,400. So 2,400 calories a day gets me the exact right amount of protein. And once again, I'm looking at it in my app. I know exactly how many grams of protein I'm taking in a day. I have a little weight scale, and you guys are probably thinking, this is crazy. I got to weigh this stuff. Trust me, once you do it a few times and you know what things weigh, it's easy. So weigh your food, know exactly what it weighs. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Chris. I'm glad to see you're here on the show tonight. And Andre, glad to see you're here. So anyway, figure out exactly what you need, whether it be 0.6 or 1 grams per pound of lean body weight, and you can figure out how much protein you need. But don't overdo it with the protein. Once again, protein stimulates sugar production, okay? You don't want to be doing that. Gluconeogenesis, don't want to do it. Choose good quality carbs. That's a huge key, guys, because so many people would figure, hey, you know what, if I can get 5% of my diet in carbs, I'm going to have a Danish, or I'm going to have a slice of bread or something. No, don't do that. Guys, what you want to do instead is you want to have your carbs in the form of the vegetables. You want to do that. Maybe have some zucchini where you've got some starch in there. That's where you want to get your carbs from. Get your carbs from the berries. Don't get it from really bad, dirty carbs like your sugars, your bread, your rice, your pasta, your cereals, things like that. Good quality sleep. Once again, you're healing when you're sleeping. That's when your body's secreting growth hormone. So you get the best results when you're secreting growth hormone right after midnight, right around 1 or 2 in the morning. And also, too, MCT oils, if possible. What that is MCT oils are medium chain triglycerides. All right? So these are your medium chains, your 8 to 10 carbon chains, and all you have to do is go online, just go on Amazon and look up MCT oil. The reason MCT oil is so much better is because it burns cleaner. It's a better fuel source. It's in coconut oil, but there's so many different kinds of oils within a coconut oil that this is the exact kind you want to use. But not only that, guys, it's great for your brain. So you want to keep that cognitive function high and your brain functioning on all cylinders and getting the most out of it, then make sure you're using MCT oil. or just coconut oil. Either way, you'll still be fine, but the MCT oil is going to be even better, okay? So anyway, guys, I hope you liked the show tonight. Once again, keep on following us because we're going to be having episodes after this one where I'm going to give you follow-ups on how I'm doing, follow-ups on how you're doing. You guys can chime in. If you have any questions, write them into the comment bar. In fact, if you guys have ideas for other shows, write them into the comment bar. I'm always looking for show ideas because I want to know what you guys want to know. I want to do what you guys want. I want to be able to teach exactly what you guys are struggling with. So whatever health struggles you're having, just go ahead and put them in that comment bar. Let me know, and I'll be glad to do a show about that too. But once again, guys, if you like the show, please like, share it, get this information out to other people. I know you know people that are sick, suffering, they're depressed, their mental state is down, they're not happy with their weight, they're not happy with how they look. And you know what, guys? We can make a difference in their lives. Just share the information out to them or direct message it to them. Just send it to them, just tag them or whatever, and get the information right out to your friends. But once again, guys, follow us, and we'll be able to give you some more updates on future shows. So, guys, have a blessed night. I thank you for being here. I'll keep giving you updates. Once again, Dr. Sedano on Facebook Live. I appreciate you being here. Have a great night. God bless.